and they run the same game, and they're part of the same gang. And that was the point where either I'm gonna end up dying here or I'm gonna kill somebody. It's that serious. Physically, it took a toll on me. Like when I first got here to Burkina Faso, I was 275 pounds, man, and now I'm a nice, clean, leaner 220, and I'm heading down even farther. So, just physically and mentally, I was burned out with America. So much, there's so many angles to cover. So, but me personally, I was like, I got to get out of here for a peace of mind in my spirit. And it was one of the best things I ever did.
Now, Africa.
Let's talk about the geopolitical situation in Iran. Tell me what's your viewpoint concerning how America is handling that situation. I think recently in the news, there were attacks happening in the Strait of Hormuz against the United States because they tried to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. But what do you see? Is that a geopolitical nightmare? How do you see that situation with Iran going?
I see it as a dream, because it's putting a chokehold on America because they need to know how it feels because they put chokeholds on everybody all the time. Either sanctions, they're running. They've been running like thugs, but now they do it with no class at all. Do you hear me? So the Strait of Hormuz is teaching the United States a very valuable lesson. You can't go around doing whatever you want to anybody and thinking that you have no consequences to pay for it. Okay. And that's the problem with America. They've been doing it so long, and they got to realize, and they won't until it really hurts. The world is changing without them. The United States has done the world a favor. And what I mean by that is that the world said, why are we letting them run the show? Why are we letting them say what we can and can't do? The world is waking up, and right in front of your eyes, they're like, why are we letting this one country and this small amount of people control what we can and can't do? So America, Donald Trump with his actions and what he's done has woken up the world, and they said we gotta work around them. It's happening. The world is moving on without the United States, and whether they realize it or not. And like I said, they have put themselves in a situation they're not getting out of. They're not getting out of this Iran controversy. There's no way out. I don't know your beliefs. I don't know how if you see that way, but this is Revelations. We're living it right now. The Persians, that's what they really are. And they said this would happen. And also in the Bible, it said this would happen, not to mention that all the countries would turn on the United States. And what are they doing? All the countries are turning on the United States as well. And even a lot of the European countries, they would let the United States just settle in their country and have bases. Said, no way, you're not coming here. You're not, because Iran is ready to shoot a missile at us. We live over here. You don't. Okay? They forget that all these other so-called European countries like Germany and France and Spain and all those other countries, they live over here. Iran can reach them. Okay, Iran can touch them. And then that's why it's like, hey, man, no, we don't want you using our airspace. We don't want you co-joining with our base because that's coming over here. Even Saudi Arabia right now, recently in the news said, we don't want the United States using our airspace because we do not want Iran, basically shooting missiles at us because of your presence here.
That's right.
And also a lot of people don't know this either, that all the American bases in the Middle East, they're all destroyed. They're gone.
Yes, that's true.
They're
That's
gone.
absolutely true.
Nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about it. They're gone.
Yeah.
They destroyed them.
That's absolutely true. So, very good points. I really like how you answered that. As you know, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, America's turning 250 years in July. And there's a book by
Yeah.
Sir John Glebe that says the fate of empires typically once they reach about 250 years, they
250 years.
typically,
Yeah.
yeah, they typically either decline, collapse, or cease to exist. So I wanted to ask you
They are right.
this. Yeah, I wanted to ask you this question. Do you believe
Yes.
that the West will eventually collapse economically or just as a whole collapse as an empire? And I'm speaking specifically about America, but also just the Western influence in general.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say it's both, honestly. They're gonna
Yeah.
financially collapse because they're so tethered, together. They're so tethered, and they run the same game and they're part of the same gang. Okay. So uh America's God is money. Okay. And this is the thing is, even with Donald Trump right now, is the president, I don't know, do your research. Donald Trump is making over $100 million every single month he is president.
Mm, wow.
Yes. Facts. Not my opinion. Facts. Check it out because he's doing so many business deals as the president. Okay, and he's using American tax dollars to fund all these things, giving these folks these guarantees, which is really watered down because the American dollar is fading so fast because it no longer has the petrodollar. It's gone. Um, and a lot of countries right now are not accepting U.S. currency. Man, you remember back in the day, you used to go to any country, you had American money. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, we'll take it." They wouldn't even question. No, don't worry, we'll exchange it.
Hmm.
Now they're like, you got to go get that exchanged. We don't touch that. And the American dollar is not accepted around the globe anymore like it used to be.
Yeah.
So, because a lot of them are saying that the value moves too fast, that you have to go get that taken care of. We can't touch it. We don't know what it's going to be worth the next day. So um, it is really putting a whooping on them, yeah. I'm just saying that I just don't see it lasting much longer. It can't sustain because also, with the thing that, the Strait of Hormuz is very serious. That's 25% of the world's um, oil, but now they're having to depend on Africa. And you know what's, look, look, the Most High is wonderful. He's beautiful. We always look, they playing checkers, he always playing chess, okay?
That's right.
Now they're running to Africa for oil, and all of a sudden, many countries in Africa are popping up with oil refineries. Oh, and popping up with
That's right.
access to oil right now. It's just like, wow, no way. Has it always been there? Yeah, yeah. But now they're starting to come to Africa to get oil. Um, Dangote, you remember when
Yes.
the same Europeans rejected his airplane fuel, right?
That's right.
Not even a month later are begging for it. He's like, "Hey, I
Mm,
thought I didn't meet your standards." No, no, no. It was good. It's good. We'll take it. So I mean, you're watching karma in real time too.
that's right.
So now because of the situation, Dangote is looking to make $55 billion off of his oil refinery. Okay,
Hmm.
and a beautiful thing about that, because it's opened the door between East and West Africa like it never has before, because now Air Ethiopia is buying directly from Dangote as well for
Mm.
airplane fuel, and Air Ethiopia is expanding its reaches where the European market used to be.
Hey, and let me just that is just so remarkable. I don't think people understand the global dynamics have shifted. When you
They're
look at
shifting, right? Yeah.
when you look at the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, Africa is going to be that replacement. With Africa being that replacement for the Strait of Hormuz, you're talking about
Yes.
a new African oil oligarchy that's going to rise up
Yes.
and be massive. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the interview. And if you have, please consider subscribing. We're a new channel that would like to become a serious market competitor in the news and interviewing space. Also, we would like to bring you quality content that you enjoy. So every little bit helps. Take care and see you in the next one.
Now, Africa.